Hey book friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Stacy at Book with Stacy. I'm gonna go over a couple things with y'all today. First, we're gonna talk about this We Ripped the World Apart by Charlene Carr. And then I'm going to shout out my friend Kirsten Elise. And we're gonna take you to the Mardi Gras, Louisiana style at the end. I really love that book, but I will give it a chance and see. Kindle, I downloaded originally 5/5. My overall book is Stacy. I am excited to share with you the newest book that I read. Alabama and the audio and the town that was mispronounced. Yep. Oh my God, Here we are again with some good news and some bad news. I'll save the bad news at the end, but I'm going to shout out my friend, and then we're going to talk about the Mardi Gras. So we're going to have a good time in this video. So if you haven't already, you can, look at my other videos and see. I did one before where it goes to where we like, okay, well, while that one book worked for me and the other one did not. So this is going to be on brand with that. So this book, We Ripped the World Apart by Charlene Carr. The genre of this book is contemporary fiction, but it's more modern historical fiction. And I'm going to get to why. Women fiction, the author, she is Canadian, and she's very active on Instagram, and she'll like and repost your books. And I read this book, the paperback. This is her. This is she. I don't know if you can see it. Charlene Carr. So I read the paperback version of this book, and I recommend this book to myself because that book I read last year was one of my top reads. I think I gave it a 4.5 or a 5, and it was called Hold My Girl. And I raved about that book. It was about this lady. It was an embryo put inside of her and another lady, and I think they got switched by some kind of way. And the story, they ended up having a custody battle because one of the embryos survived and it was for the opposite woman. That story just took me on a loop, and I really enjoyed that book. So if you haven't read Hold My Girl, go out and find Hold My Girl by this author. It is the same lady, Charlene Carr. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I want to read another book by authors that I loved last year. So that was my whole February month of choosing which books that I was going to read. Like the book I read, An American Marriage, and then I decided to read Leaving Atlanta. Both of them was by Tayari Jones. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but I read those two books. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to read Charlene Carr's book because I read Hold My Girl, and then I'm going to read this one. And another book that I'm reading this month, it was The Yellow Wife by Sadiqa Johnson. So I'm going to read this one. So that's my whole concept of reading the catalog of the author and then exploring to see, to compare and contrast the books that I like and what I don't like. So this one, I read the paperback version of this book. I started February the 9th. I finished February the 13th. The copyright of this was August 26, 2025. I love the color of it. And I get why she went with that because this is like totally police colors. Like in I don't know if everywhere else, but you see the police lights that are blue, white, yellow, red. It gives police vibes. And the artwork on it is pretty cool. You have the house and you have the things, and this is just a beautiful cover. So would I read this book again? No. Would I recommend this book? On the fence, maybe so. I will get to that in a minute. But the themes and characters that resonated with me, it was, okay, this girl, she's 24 years old. Her name is Carlina. She discovers that she's pregnant. And she's unsure if she wants to keep the kid or not. And she has her own reasons. This girl is very traumatized, meaning that she was just, she experienced a lot before her pregnancy, but she was doing what she wanted to do, and oops, she got pregnant. And she is under the impression to where like she doesn't know her space or her place in the world because she's mixed, black and white, and she doesn't feel neither one. Like her mom was white, her dad was black, or say Jamaican, and her grandma was Jamaican, her brother, he was mixed, he was older. The emotions that came up with me when reading this book, think about during 2020 or 2019, 2020 with George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter. This book mentioned Black Lives Matter a few times in this book, and the police brutality and all the different things that were awful during 2020. So I can't say that this isn't a real historical fiction because that's only 6 years ago, you know. So contemporary historical fiction, yes, because it's like a modernized one. In 5 years, yesterday is history. So 5 years is definitely history, and it's something to talk about. So this is one of the first of the kind that I'm just like, oh, 2020, wearing a mask, people protesting, people getting, you know, awful things happening from the police. So I would say the themes that resonated with me was that era. And I'm kind of glad that she mentioned this in that story. And I love that she's Canadian and you see it from her perspective, because you think all of the things that are going wrong are in the South. Like I'm in Louisiana, Southern girl, we see all kind of racism all the time. For her to put it in the book in the perspective of a Canadian, in her point of view on racism being mixed. I'm not mixed, but I have friends who are mixed, black, white, Spanish, mixed, you know, with whatever. And I can totally see how they don't feel like they belong with either one. But I'm friends with everybody. I love mixed people. I love all kinds of people. So that just, girl, if you want to be mixed and identify as mixed, go for it. Y'all know I love me some Mariah Carey. I love me, you know, not because she's mixed, but because she's her. So if that makes sense. So I love people because of who they are, not because of what they racially identify with. But this was one of the strong points in it, that the girl was mixed. And if you know, experience that, you might connect with that a little bit more. Me, I just thought the girl was traumatized. And traumatized not from her, like her identity, but from the trauma that she experienced from her black side. So I definitely could connect with that. Her writing style, this lady, Charlene, she puts on mystery vibes to where like she drops gems throughout the book that keeps like breadcrumbing you along the way. My only thing is she's very long-winded. Like this book is 480 pages. 460. You get to the point about midway. And then me, I'm like, okay. With any book. Like, you know, I'm reading that fantasy book right now. It's long-winded. And I'm just like, okay, girl, when we gonna wrap this book up? So I was starting to feel like that while I got halfway through this book. So it's just me. But some people like a slow burn, mystery, breadcrumb, leading along the way type of read. Me, not my taste. Very long-winded. So I would give the writing style a 2 out of 5. The readability, it was very readable, but it started to get kind of boring to me. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Relatability, very relatable. Like I said, with her identity issues and her deciding if she wants to stay pregnant. She was in a relationship with this guy and she had her reasons on why she wasn't sure if she wanted to keep it, and he wanted to keep it, and it was just a lot of that. It was very relatable, and it's her choice. And it also brought up the pro-choice and whatever her decisions were in that book. So I'll say relatability, 5 out of 5. Originality, I'll say a 2.5 or a 2 out of 5. Personal impact, 5 out of 5, because it does mention all of the things that I said before that happened during 2020. Now the plot, for me, I'm going to say a 1 out of 5 because it started bringing in new characters at the end. And then she didn't speak about she spoke about the Jamaican heritage, but then in the end, it started having like the grandma speak in patois and her French or whatever she was speaking towards the end. And I'm just like, you didn't have to throw that in there, but that's just me as far as the plot. Overall, I gave this book a 3. I'll say a 3.25. And, you know, I'm going to take it down. I'm going to give it a 2.25 because only because it dampened my mood. Like, after reading this book at 460 pages, it just made me in a pissy mood. Like you would feel how we felt right after COVID. I felt like this for a couple days. And the concept, I love the concept. And it started with the brother, and you already know where it's going. He is an avid protester, and he's socking it to him and all of these different things. And the little girl, she's little at the time when this happens, because he was her older brother. And he just, I don't know. What wasn't my cup of tea, it was the taste. She was in good taste whenever she wrote this story. But the breadcrumbs leading to what happened to the dad is what really had me reading this. And I just feel like it was just like a letdown. This book, it had zero spice, which is, I'm okay with that. It wasn't that type of book. Would I recommend this to a friend? If you are looking for something that has like a multi-generational story about racism and secrets and lives of the granddaughter, the daughter, the mom, like motherhood and that situation, it kind of puts you in that. It was a different story. And like I said, it was different because of the Jamaican sense of it and the Canadian stuff that they had in it. But I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to read the synopsis so you can decide. And then I'm going to shout out my friend like after this. And then I'm going to bring you out to the Mardi Gras whenever I'm done with that. We Ripped the World Apart by Charlene Carr. When 24-year-old Carlina discovers she's pregnant with a child she isn't sure she wants to keep, her struggle to understand her place in the world as a woman who's half black and half white, yet feels neither, is amplified. Her mother, Evelyn, fled to Canada with her husband and her firstborn child during the political charged Jamaican exodus of 1980s, only to realize they've come to a place where black men were viewed with suspicion. And a constant reality, Evelyn watches her husband and son navigate daily because the mother is white. Years later, in the aftermath of her son's murder by the police, Evelyn's mother-in-law, Violet, moves in, throwing young Carlina, offering her to link in the Jamaican heritage she has never fully known. Despite Violet's effort to help them through their grief, the trauma they carry grows into a web of secrets that threatens the family they all hold so dear. In the present day, Carlina, prompted by fear and uncertain about the new life she's carrying, must come to terms with the mystery surrounding her family's past and the need to make sense of both her identity and her future. Weaving the women's story across multiple timelines. Okay, yeah, that was something else that kind of threw me off. Multiple timelines. We Rip the World Apart reveals the ways the simple choices made by the heat of the moment with the best intentions. We have deep and lasting repercussions, especially when people remain silent. So that is what I have with what I'm saying about this book. Like, when I do a review, it's up to you to choose to read this book or not. I'm not saying don't read it. I'm not saying do read it. But if you do, I'm just telling you my honest opinion about this book. And I really, really loved Hold My Girl. This one just did not hit for me. So that is that. But speaking of Canadian, my friend Kirsten Elise, girl, that is my little book friend. So I want y'all to go and follow her page, help her get her 100 subscribers. She has 70, and I just want to shout her out because I think she's so funny to me. Even though she's very subtle and she seems quiet and shy, I know she's not. And she's a friend that I would think, we never met in real life. We only like message on YouTube. But she's a friend I knew if we were in school together, we would get in so much trouble together from like being silly and just like making comments and stuff. She has the same, like similar, not same, but similar book taste as me. We read this, well, she reads more classics than I do. She I loves her TBR picking, and how she chooses her books are always cool to me. And she's very soft-spoken. So follow her page. That's my girl. I just want to shout her out. Keep reading. Keep doing your thing. Thank you for supporting my page. I definitely will support yours. But y'all, go follow her page. Get her up to at least 100 subscribers. Like ASAP. I think she's going to do well with it. Keep posting those books. She posts like once or twice a week. And, you know, it's very simple and just a vibe, you know. And I like her. But I do need to find your Storygraph and your Goodreads or whatever you post in Instagram besides YouTube, so we can be friends and just like keep up with whatever each other are reading. So that's my little shout out. So next, I'm going to talk to you guys and bring you to the Mardi Gras. Yeah, it is Mardi Gras season. So I decided I want to do a book sprint for these 3 days because I got off work Saturday. And I started the sprint. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't think I'm going to post it. I don't know. I was struggling with that. But I got excited because I saw my friends and everybody was in there. And I'm just talking, doing the book sprint. We're supposed to be reading all these different things. So I'm just like, oh, Lord. I was just so overly stimulated. Like after that, at midnight, I was like, I don't think I did that right. And I know I didn't. So I was very intentional the second day, day 2. I got on. And I just turned the little music on and I just started reading. And I'm reading this book. I don't think I have it in here. But it's called An Ember in the Ashes. And I'll show y'all the book. And I started this book because I knew I wouldn't read it if I wasn't held accountable on that live. And it's our bonus pick for my book club. So that's why I've been reading that book. And I'm almost done with it. Because I was just like, I've been reading throughout the day a lot. But then that long sprint from 8 until midnight is what I've been like getting a big chunk of it out and a chunk of it done in online. I'm probably not going to do sprints or host sprints on my own after these 2 more that I have for a while because I don't know what I'm doing. And it is a struggle. But thank you to everybody that came and commented. Raquel came and popped up in there and said hello. Oprah, Dee Dee, you know who you are. And put her little purple hearts and all the different things. All my little friends that I like to read and follow their readings and talk about things that we're reading together and just build a book community. I love all of that. But reading sprints, Lord have mercy. God bless y'all who does who do that reading sprint because it's a lot. And then I was like, I couldn't even think. I think I read like 3 pages the first night, but the second night I read 100 pages. I did really good. Over 100 pages. Now, let's go down to the Mardi Gras. And I'm saying this because I only went to 1 parade and that was more than enough. And I'm home Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And I'm just doing bookish things. But I want y'all to get a little glimpse of how we roll during Mardi Gras. I went to the Eve parade and I'll post it and everything that I caught. But that explains just that. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the Mardi Gras. This is my Mardi Gras outfit. For Mardi Gras, you want to wear comfortable shoes, dress appropriate. Sometimes it's raining, cold, wet, t-shirt, beads, bag. So we're all going to get ready for the parade. You want to get there early and park. Make sure you have like a chair, bring a bag, and make sure you stake out your spot before they start rolling. Get some music, they go dance and all the things before the parade starts. You see the police cars and you see the blue lights like in that book cover, what I was talking about? Yeah, so once the police start rolling out and clearing out the streets for you to stop dancing in the streets, they are lining up to roll out the parade. And we were just sitting there waiting. This parade took a long time to start, y'all. We waited for like 2.5, 3 hours. But it's starting to marching dances. And I used to be one of those flag girls. I used to do color guard in high school. I was the captain my senior year. And it always excited me to hear the live band and see all the old things I used to do when we marched in those parades. I've been in almost every parade in New Orleans and in the South. this Louisiana region. So that's why I am kind of burnt out with going to parades and Mardi Gras. I usually do 1 or 2 parades per year. And I prefer, I'll say they have daytime parades and nighttime parades. I prefer, with family and little kids, you want to go to a daytime parade. At nighttime, for like drinking, the fun, the dancing with your friends, go to a night parade with that type of vibe. And you get to hear all the music and all the good things. Here is my alma mater. I am a Covington High School alumni, a Lion, and we used to wear, this is the dance team, and the sparkling old gold, the blue, there's a drum major, the band, the sign, the polos, and it's the dance team. They still got the same uniforms, and here comes our band. They never really played. They played at the homecoming game. I'm pretty sure they do play. And here they are coming from Covington High School, Covington, Louisiana, the drum major. They always have a guy in the room, in case you didn't know. Those are the first 2. And the drum majors, they lead the whole band. And they usually are like the seniors. And they get to dance and call all the music that they're going to play. And they usually put on a show for you too. But this is Covington High School Marching Lions. And the flag team, I was a golden silk. So the golden silk, we had the color guard, like the flags, and did the twirling. And here those girls go right here. But they didn't really give us nothing. So they put them behind the band. See, I think when I was on it, we demanded to be right in front of the band. But sometimes it's better to be behind the band so you can hear the music and you're the last ones that they see and you kind of close it out. So it's no bad spot when you're marching, but I do not want to go back to marching in those parades. Those boots and tassels and all those things. Oh. So here is another one that she was dancing. I think this was, I don't remember. Yeah, SHS. Their high school.